Hi everyone, welcome to Colette's Thermi Kitchen. If you don't know me, my name's Colette Matriga. I'm a Thermomix consultant here in Australia and I've got over 1,000 customers in all states and territories. We have a lot of fun with our Thermomix. We do cook-alongs, we have lives, just so much, and it's great fun. It's a new hobby, but more importantly, it's a great way to actually have good, healthy food, save money and prepare those foods nice and quickly. Anyhow, so let's move on from there. Now, so many of my customers have been contacting me lately saying, look, I'm not sure what to do. I've got a TM5. Do I take advantage of the upgrade offer? Do I keep my TM6? Do I go for the jump in and go for the TM7? So what I want to do tonight, now that I've finally got my hands on my own TM7, which I picked up yesterday, incredibly exciting, what I want to do is to run through what the differences are between the mighty TM6, as I call it, because it is fabulous, and the new revolutionary TM7. So let's get started. But first of all, the TM6, just so everyone knows, this is only going to be with us for a very short time. On the 2nd of June, that's the last chance you get to order or upgrade a TM6. And I will tell you a little bit more about it. So that's why there's this little bit of urgency. And let me tell you, those orders are actually coming in pretty fast now. So the expectation is we will run out of those before the 2nd of June. Once we run out of those, no more. We are only selling the TM7. So let's get cracking. So what I've got here in front of me is my TM6, which I've used and loved dearly for many years, and the TM7. Now, I'm just going to go through from top down to bottom. I've got my little crib notes in case I forget some useful information. But what you'll see, first of all, is a huge difference in terms of style and look and size. So we're going to start at the top. Now, the TM7, or the Varoma as we call this is our steaming tool. Now, on the TM6, you can quite happily take this and you can definitely steam a beautiful grilled chicken in here, or you can do layers of dim sum. But the new TM7 Varoma is much bigger. And basically, if we look at the TM7 Varoma, it is actually 45% bigger. And just taking a quick look inside, you can see it's more a design thing rather than a size thing, because the overall dimensions are the same as in the TM6. So lots of room, you can do your chicken with some veggies around it, etc. But to put that into a little bit more perspective, let's just do a design thing here. Let's sit this on top, and that's when you can actually see what the difference is, but you can steam lots in here, but of course you've got 45% more. Now, many of my customers tell me they're not using their Varoma, and it's the one area that I really do lots of training with my customers. We have separate classes, and they are all Varoma fans, as we call it. They love steaming. It's a healthy, quick way to eat and prepare your food. So let's get rid of these just for now. Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is just have a look at the accessories that we get with the TM6 and the TM7. So let's first of all have a look at the spatula. So this is the design for the TM6, and you'll notice we have a collar, because this collar will fit through the hole in the lid and it will help you to stir if needed. And the collar also helps you keep your workbench nice and clean, so not messy. Now, a lot of people like this, a lot of people don't like this, but I love it because it does have specific uses and it's really kind of durable, and this bit here will help you to clean around the bowl. Now let's head over and have a look at the TM7 one. So you can see very different in its design. It's been designed on a Japanese knife basically, and if we look at the TM7 one, this is a silicone. It's a flexible kind of spatula, and the great thing is it will fit down your bowl and scoop up a lot more. And of course you've got your little hook that will go into the simmering basket, and that will actually extract the simmering basket from the Thermomix. And don't worry about having that collar that won't keep this clean, because you've got a little, I guess, a little knob here. And as you put this down on the bench, you can see there is room underneath here, so you're not going to get your bench messy. So a great design. This one also has the benefit of a little screw turner here, I guess you would call it. And what that will do, if I show you on the TM7 bowl, underneath, especially when you're doing dough, sometimes it's hard to get out. This will actually fit into the actual screw, and as I turn that around, the blade turns and that will drop out the dough. So that's a really useful little tool. So let's just put that back on for now. I'm out of fun angle here. And pop that back on. So the spatulas, simple little things. Let's not spend too much time on those. Let's have a quick look at the actual butterfly. The only difference is with the butterfly, again, we don't have this grey colour with the TM7. It's all black, you know, a dark black, which is great. But the main difference is you've got an extra kind of nodule here, and that's going to help emulsify, whip your egg whites and things like that a bit better. But having said that, the TM6 does an amazing job, and I've been using this for years, probably about 3 times a week to make butter. I love it, really cool. So that's the whisk. And then let's have a little look at the other accessory, our simmering basket. Again, deep black, and you've got the grey colour here. The main difference here with the basket is both got a lid, both the same size, but a little bit of a redesign in that you will be able to pop your blade into here to quickly release that lid if you've got something hot in there. And of course, when it's inside, you can actually connect with that with the hook and then pull it out of the bowl really easily. So simmering basket, not a lot to say there, pretty cool though. All right, now the next thing that we have got is to have a look at the lids. Now the TM6 lid, it comes with a measuring cup. We love the measuring cup, you know, it doesn't fall out, it's nice and simple, nice clean lines, and on top of the lid with the TM6, you've got a number of choices. You can either pop the measuring cup on, but if you are cooking at above 90 degrees, you need to pop your simmering basket on top, and that's a safety feature. Also, if you're cooking at high heat at 160 degrees or above, you'll pop on top the splatter guard. And of course, we've got the varoma that we looked at already. So you've got a number of things that can fit on top of the lid. With the with the TM7, we no longer have all those little bits and pieces. There's no splatter guard. It's a simple rule. We have this lid cap, and this lid cap simply pops on, and that's what you use when you're cooking. When you are steaming is the only time this guy comes off and the varoma sits on top. So that is the main difference with those measuring cups. Okay. Now, if you've got questions, please pop them in the chat. What I will do once I finish this presentation tonight, I'll go back and answer those questions for you. So just pop them in there and I will definitely go back and answer them. So now we get on to, oh, it's going to close down. I don't want that to happen, but never mind. So now we get on to the next thing, which is the bowl. Actually, let's just talk about the lid on the TM7. I didn't do that. So you'll notice there is quite a big redesign on the lid on the TM7. We have no longer got this big hole, and that's what enables us to not have to have all those extra things on top of this lid. We have a small hole, and the emulsification of sauces, béarnaise sauces, hollandaise is meant to be even better. I have yet to try that, but I just believe what I'm told. Basically we turn it underneath, you can actually get a feel here. So a few more grooves in here, so it might need a little bit more cleaning with the brush, and then just drying that off compared to the TM6, which is much more simpler. And of course we've got magnetic closures in the front, and that's how this lid actually stays in place. So that is the TM7 lid, and of course the TM6 lid. We now move on to the actual bowl of the Thermomixes. Now, the TM7 bowl, let's check my notes to make sure I'm going through everything. Yeah, pretty good. The TM7 bowl, both of them are the same size, but the TM6 bowl actually it's just the one part. You know, you undo the base, extract the blade. So it's not a hard process to do, so it's quite easy. When you first get it, it's a bit tight, but it does loosen up and it is an easy kind of option. Same size, exactly the same design inside, and that is the bowl. No difference as we use that all the time. Let's now have a look at the TM7 bowl. Major redesign in the TM7 bowl. So the first thing that you'll notice, if you look inside, that is the same bowl as what you've got here. No difference. What is different is you've got this outer design, and I think that the design is just beautiful. It's got like a plissé design, you know, a play on lines, so it's not a jet black. It's very, very stylish. What I love about it is the fact that you've got this lever here. So it is super easy to extract the blade, and you can actually lift it up by just turning that there, and you can now lift this out, or you can take the blade out, whichever way you want to operate. So when we take that out and take the blade out, we're left with exactly the same silver bowl. No difference, exactly the same. Where it becomes different is in this outer sleeve, and it is very clever. So this outer sleeve gives us a thermal kind of lining, which means it's going to keep whatever's in the bowl a lot hotter. So that's really cool. And it also means that you can pick this bowl up even when you've got boiling soup in there. So that's also a nice design. Now, just like the TM6, both bowls can go into the dishwasher, not a problem. But why would you do that? You've got an incredible mode on these for pre-cleaning with 5 preset cleaning options. That's the way you should be cleaning your Thermomix bowls. So basically, to reignite this and pop this back in, we basically need to just line up the back with the black with the front of our Thermomix, so that clicks in, pop the blade back in, and then we turn towards the lid. Now I can sit that comfortably on here, but before I do, the one drawback of the TM7 bowl is that it is 600 grams heavier. So that's quite a bit heavier. But the good thing is, whereas with the TM6 bowl, you can lift it up like this and tip it and move it. With the TM7, you can actually use both hands to lift it up, which makes it quite manageable. So I don't mind that feature at all. Now I just need to put my blade back in, which I can turn properly. That's it. Okay. This, by the way, is really easy to maneuver. I really love this little feature. So back on, and it's just an up-down action on your base. So on the bowl, let me put my glasses on and make sure I've told you everything I need to. Yeah, one of the things that I also want you to be aware of, on the inside of your Thermomix, let's just have a look. The TM6 is fabulous because you've got your overflow here, so it should flood. You've got an overflow outlet that it will go down. On your TM7, these aren't indentations, they're actually little raised kind of silicone ribs. If anything should flood, it's just going to spill off, so nothing's going to get anywhere. This is where the knife securely fits in, just as it does over here, so no difference there. But I do want you to spot this little difference. If we look at the actual pins, on the TM6 we've got 5, on the TM7 we have got more. So what that tells me, something more is coming. I think we've probably all heard about some of the things that are coming, but I'm not going there. So the TM7 will take you into the future. But let's not ignore the TM6 because it has so many possibilities. With the bowl, what else have I got to say? Yeah, the other nice thing I quite like, especially here in Australia, is that you don't have all of those. Let's turn this round. You don't have these here. Now these are all kind of sealed in beautifully, but it just means that there's no way cockroaches and things like that are going to get into your machine. So that's something for you to consider if you're living up in those hotter parts of Queensland. Now with the bowl, simply a case of popping on, up down action, lid on, and the lid on. One of the things I quite like is if you are cooking a recipe and you're cooking that recipe and you go on to the next step and it says a couple of 100 grams of something, you then take the lid on, then the scales go into a negative. With the TM7, if you take that lid off, it doesn't actually reset until you press the go button, so to speak. That's when the scales reset, and I think that's a nice feature. But it is not a hassle. On your TM7, all you do is you just press the tar button and that resets it. Excellent. All right, so let's carry on. Dishwasher safe, I mentioned that these are all dishwasher safe. With the sleeve, you don't really need, this one is not going to get really dirty, but if it does, you can put it in the dishwasher, but it is not recommended. Just a quick wipe and that should suffice, but you know, that's going to be up to you. And of course you've got those amazing pre-cleaning options with both of those. I think that's okay. Right, let's now head down to the nitty-gritty parts, so the actual base itself. So I'm just going to move these. So with the TM6, when you switch it on, you come to the home screen. So it's very simple. You've got to select a button, and as you actually hit each of these, you turn the selector button and that will move to whatever you want it to move to. So nice and simple to use in manual mode or in a guided mode. Very, very simple to use. And then from here, what you can do is you then hit on the main menu and you can go to your weekly meal plan. One of the things I found that TM7 is a bit faster, but that's with the technology that's in. You've got your meal plan there and you can click on whatever you're going to cook and that will come up and then off you go and start cooking. So it's simple, it's guided, it's step by step, which is a wonderful thing. Now on your TM7, this is amazing. You know, there's no way to kind of put this by. I'm just blown away by this. You can choose the type of home screen that you want. You've got 3 choices, and this is the one that I've chosen. So when I turn it on, I can go straight to my meal plan. I can actually go straight to my weekly meal plan, or I can go into the mode. So very, very simple. Now on here as well, let's just go through this. So I'm at my home screen. To go into Cookie Do, it's simply a case of hitting the search. And you can see with the big screen, we've got all of these beautiful menus, just like the TM6. So let's have a look here at the TM6, heading over to Cookie Do. It is a basic swipe action. So again, super easy. You swipe into Cookie Do, and then you will type in whatever you want, or you'll just go to the Explore page. So let me just go back into Cookie Do. And here we go. What would you like to cook today? And then we've got those kind of categories coming up and that information, what's new, etc. So it's kind of a similar kind of operation there. Now heading over to the 7, and I'm going back and forward, but I want you to see them all side by side. Here you can see it's easy for us to get into our cookbooks. Now, did you know? Let's go into cookbooks. Look how many cookbooks I've got on my filtered options, which are interesting. So there's over 8,000 different cookbooks that you can actually head into, and there's some incredible cookbooks in here. Some of them are in a foreign language, but easy to filter them out, just as it is on the TM6. You've got access to all of this on both, and access to all the recipes. So that's Cookie Do. So the next thing is, let's go into the weekly meal plan. So I'm hitting on my weekly meal plan. I'm going into this here, my week. And then here I can actually look at the meal plan, or I can go back and say, well, show me my recipes, go into my created recipes, and then up come my recipes. And I can say, look, this is one of my recipe categories, basics and brilliant. And these are the recipes that I've got saved in that category. Let's have a look now at that category. So my recipe lists, basics and brilliant. So you can see the display. And those are the same recipes that I have got on both. So you can get a feel, both pretty easy to get hold of and to access, which is good. You've also got, if I head back, you've got access to your cooked recipes, you know, your overall created collections, the recipes you saved. It's very similar on both, a bit quicker and a bit faster on your TM7. So let's head now to the modes. What I like about the modes is how they're all visible on the TM7. On the TM6, let's head to our modes menu, and all we do is we swipe to the other side. So really easy for you to access, and the modes pop up. One of the things I like about the TM7 is you've got a dual monitor or dual screen. What that means is the actual scales always show. So the bowl is always there for you. Now, it's easy to hop into manual mode by just pressing the button. But again, you've got all the modes and all the modes here, but you can see more, so there's no swiping up and down. But, you know, that doesn't take a lot to do, just swiping up and down. So really, really cool. So let's have a look at, I'd like to look on the TM7 at some of the new modes. What has the 7 got that the TM6 doesn't? So we all know that the modes in the TM6 are super incredible. Everything from slow cooking to fermentation, making yogurts, sous videing, kettle, egg boiler, they're all on the TM6. Absolutely amazing. All of these are on the TM7. However, we have 3 extra. Now those 3 extra include browning. So let's hit on browning. I do love the display on the TM7. It's visual, it's fun, it's easy, and it's very, very cool. Now, you can basically just do a manual kind of recipe. You can hit the time, 10 minutes. Let's say I want to increase that. I can actually increase that, or I can increase it down here, you know, by adding on some extra minutes with the preset numbers. Seconds, let's say I want to increase that by 5 seconds. Now with the temperature, you'll notice that you can actually control this yourself. Now with the TM6, you have a browning function. You can brown up to 160 degrees, but you need to do that in a guided recipe. So if you want to do some steak slices and you want to brown them up, there are recipes in Cookie Doo on the TM6 that you can pull up, so it's not a problem. However, with the TM7, you can just go for it. I can just throw in a bit of oil, throw in my strips, and then I can change from gentle to intense. So if I want intense, which is 160 degrees cooking, I can do that. But if I want a more gentle one, if I'm wanting to do some onion without browning, which is, you know, quite a thing you want, you can go for the gentle mode, which is lovely. So you've got those there as option. Now, let's just have a look at some of the other features here. We've got steaming. Steaming is a new feature with the TM7. So what you've actually got, again, it's very visual, telling you exactly what to do. But what I do like about this is that it will give you information. So let's say you've got no idea. You've had a TM6 or a TM5, and with the TM6, you need to go to the basic cookbook for information. Everything's on your TM7. Show me tips. I don't know what I'm doing. So see how visual these tips are? It tells you step by step exactly what to do. Let's say you want a bit more information. Here we go. Some more information, steaming, explained, etc. So you've got lots of visual references and materials. That is not available on your TM6. But with the guided recipes, you're going to have thousands of steaming recipes that you can follow step by step and be very, very happy with. Moving along, the third one, which I absolutely love as well, is the open cooking. Now with the TM7, what you can do is I can take that lid off and I can treat this just like a saucepan. So I can actually boil pasta in that without putting the lid on. And take it further, I can start off my recipe, chop my onions, saute my onions, etc. And while they're sauteing, I can even take the lid off. When you take the lid off, it needs to be at 100 degrees or below. And what happens when the lid is off? The blades stop. So there's no rotation of the blades. So what that means is just like you would do on the stove, you'd get your fry pan and you'd turn around your onions or whatever just from time to time. Or if you're cooking meatballs and a tomato sauce in there, you just give them a little stir because the blades aren't stirring. And then you can go on, add your liquids and then throw your hard pasta in and just kind of cook it along with no lid in place. With the TM6, the lid has always got to be on place. But don't let that think you cannot do things like meatballs in tomato sauce. Yes, you can. There are recipes for that built in. So you can do all of the same thing. Where this, I think, comes into its own is the fact that you can just do what you want. It gives you the freedom to actually do what you want, and I love that. And again, show me my tips. Up comes some great preparation tips and then some further tips about open cooking. So there's so much built in behind the scenes that's going to teach you more about using your TM7. So that is good. Let me just check. Now, in terms of motor, yes, of course, you know, German technology, I mean, it's amazing. So with the TM6, you've got a reluctance motor, maintenance free, so it never needs servicing, unless something gets broken, obviously. But with the TM7, you've got a synchronous reluctance, or a synchronous motor. And what that basically means is that this is quieter. So at speed 2 and below, you won't hear it. You might hear a bit of slushing if there's lots of liquid, but you won't hear that little whirring action, which you will in the TM6. But you know, I've used my TM6 for how many years? Loads of years. It's never really worried me. But it is a lovely feature of the TM7, and my husband will definitely appreciate that when he's watching footy in the rumpus of the kitchen, and I've got a slow cook recipe going on, and there's little whirring going on. So that's a really good thing, and of course it's kind of quicker, and I do love the fact that if you know, you go to your home screen, and if you go to Cookie Do, and you want to search for something, I hit search. Look at this big keyboard. It's easy and it's quick. Whereas with this one here, you can go to your, swiping into Cookie Do, and you can type in, but I've always found the keyboard just a little bit little. So you can just type in like that. So that is a bit about the screen. Let me just check. Yeah, so one of the great things with the TM7 is you have a built-in slider or glider. So at the base on the back, let me show you that. What we have is this is the glider board. These are the scales. So we can easily move this around the kitchen by picking it up and then just moving it on the glider board at the back. Really easy to move around your kitchen. With the TM6, you need to get a glider board, and again with that, you can quite easily move that around with the two hands. Very, very easy to do. All right. So you can see the little glider board, which is over there. All right. Yeah, you've obviously noticed, so this is a 6.8-inch screen versus the 10-inch screen, so you've got a difference there. One of the other great advantages in the TM7, you can increase or decrease the text size. So if you want to get more on your screen, you can decrease it. But you know, I should be able to use this without my glasses, which I think is a great thing. Okay. Right, so I think I've gone through most of those bits and pieces. So let me just talk to you about what the offer is. Now, I'm going to be honest, this week I have lots of people coming through and deciding to upgrade their TM5s or TM31s and take advantage of that. or to take advantage of our run-out bundle on the TM6. The TM6, I would still call it my tea. It's an amazing appliance, and I have every intention of keeping a TM6 in my kitchen. Now, if you are ordering, you need to get on the bandwagon. You need to hop off that fence and make it happen, because they are not going to be around for very long, and the demand is high and the sales are now picking up, and the expectation is that we'll probably sell out before the 2nd of June. So what do you get? So if you want to just buy a TM6 with no upgrade, it's going to cost you $2,579. There are payment plans available, so you can spread that over 24 months or even over a 3-month period. And your Thermomix should be with you within the week. But the great thing is, which is tempting so many people, is you are going to get $1,000, just over $1,000 worth of extras. They're not like steak knives. They are top of the line extras that you need to make this baby absolutely perfect. Things like the glider board, that comes free. Another bowl blade and lid, that comes free. You're going to get the cutter, the spiralizer, 15 months in total of the Cookie Do subscription, and of course the little blade cover. Now, for those of you that have this blade cover, this does fit in your TM7. So that's the only accessory that does fit. And of course, if you have a sensor, that also works with the TM7. So the other option that we have at the moment is a trade up. And if you've got an old 31 or an old 5, no matter what the condition is, you can actually trade that up and get a discount of $680 off the price. So you will be paying $1,899 for the TM6. Plus you get just under $1,000 of extras. So good. So, and there is a trade-in kind of tier. So if you've got an old like KitchenAid or an appliance that costs you more than $300, you can actually get a discount on the trade up as well. So just contact me or your consultant, we can tell you. With the TM6, 2 options. One is the trade up, one is without the trade up. With the TM7, so I have got so many customers that have ordered a TM7 with me, and I'm so excited. I have got a TM lounge already set up for my customers. That's just starting to come to life. We are going to have so much fun together, cooking together, learning together, exploring together. And I reckon by the end of a month, everyone will be fully on board, fully informed, and raring and going ahead with their TM7s. Now, this is up for pre-order at the moment until the 2nd, when this one guy runs out. Pre-orders, $2,649. No payment plans. Worldwide demand is super high. And you can pay by PayPal or by credit card. Now, this will come to you. Shipping is going to start 2nd of June, so gradually it's going to come out. There's a lot of TM7s that are going to be shipped out, so it might take a couple of weeks until those that have pre-ordered get it. Come the 3rd, this then opens for general sale, and we say goodbye to the mighty TM6. No more, okay? So what that means is that payment options will be available for the TM7. Now, if you want to be one of my customers, you don't have an active consultant already that's looking after you, I would love to look after you. Message me, send me a link or whatever it is that you need. I will answer your questions and get in touch with you. But please, if you're after one of these mighty TM6s, don't procrastinate, hop off that fence, get in touch. And I would love to invite you. So with my TM6 customers, I have an amazing, amazing community which is exclusive to my customers. We do cook-alongs together, and in fact in June we've got an amazing, we're going a bit chefy, we're doing beautiful chocolate profiteroles with a creme pat filling, and we've got a beautiful pork fillet which has got a pea puree encased in a lovely rough puff pastry and a champagne sauce, so we've gone very upmarket. But we always have cook-alongs together and things like that, so it's a great page and they help each other. It's such a beautiful community. And I will continue to work with people with the TM6. It doesn't mean come the 2nd I don't look after my TM6 customers. That's not what I'm about. It's about making sure no matter what Thermomix you have, and I still have a few with TM5s, none with TM31s, and that's where they're at, and that's fine, it doesn't matter. I want you to use and love your Thermomix. So there you go, guys. Those are the differences between the two. I'm excited to really embark on this. I'll be creating lots of videos, lots of information on the TM7, a lot of that going to my customers so that they can really get the most out of it. So again, just a reminder, if you don't have a consultant, if you are looking at upgrading and getting a TM6, if you're looking at getting a TM7, please reach out. I'd love to support you and have you join my community. So that's me. My name's Colette Matriga. Please, please, before you go, just take a moment to share this video. There are lots of people out there that are just unsure which way to go. And by you hitting that share, what it does, it tells Facebook that you like this post, so they're going to show you more of my posts. I hope you want that. But also, it will be dropped into other people's feeds, and that might really help them in their decision making. So hit that share button below. I'll be so grateful for that. Let's really go for a big number of shares on this post. So there you go. My name's Colette Matriga. Reach out if you've got any specific questions about either of these two wonderful, amazing machines. And I'm about to go off and make dinner in my TM7 tonight. Thanks for checking in. My name's Colette Matriga, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.